Hello, Ravens fans, and welcome to our recruiting class interview. I'm Aaron Schneider, the Sports Information Director at Anderson University, and joining us for the 2024 football class recruiting interviews, Head Coach Jonathan Coddington. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having us today.
So you started here around December 22, January 23, and this being the case with anybody who comes on, following a previous fall, you had your experiences between the 23 and the 24 drastically different just based on what you walking into for kind of being behind the ball a little bit. Tell us about your your differences between the two classes and approach and all of those things.
Yeah, I think this first 18 months has absolutely flown by, and so excited to head into our second fall. But yeah, definitely there were a ton of differences between recruiting the 23 class versus the 24 class. The first and the obvious one just being the amount of time that we got to recruit them. As moved down here in January, got our coaching staff put together. One of the first priorities was making sure to connect with the guys currently on the team and really work to try to get as many of those guys to come back as possible. Not having any connections with those guys yet, wanting to try to build that. And so that in itself was an element of recruiting. And then as we're reaching out and trying to kind of recruit that class as well too, with a little bit shorter of a timeline. We brought in some good dudes, but it was probably not just not as good as kind of this next kind of class, as far as just the amount of time we were able to invest in that class. And so that we've been really excited about these this incoming class of freshmen and transfers, as we got to spend a full calendar year recruiting them, getting to know them and their families really well, letting them get to know us really well too, because I think that's a big part of it, of being able to kind of have that be a two-way street. We want to know what they're bringing to the table, they need to know what we're bringing to the table, what we're all about too, and finding those guys that are the right
This
fits.
year's class gets to, they got to show up in the fall, see what a Raven football game looks like.
Yes, without a doubt, which is huge.
All right, and then so let's kind of go through the positional breakdown. Your skill players coming in for this year. Tell us on who some of the people you see to make an impact.
Yeah. So some skill guys coming in that I think are gonna have an opportunity to make some good impacts. Gabe McGuire is one that comes to mind. He'll be a receiver for us. He'll be a returner for us as well too. A local guy from Alexandria Monroe High School. Did a great job there at that program, and he's a playmaker with the ball in his hands. Really excited to see what he can do. And as he's been on campus and through training camp, I think he's really shown people that he can play at this level. And we're really excited about having him. We've got a couple other guys at the receiver position that have been able to kind of rotate in some different roles throughout camp. Braden Anderson, he's a guy from Texas that he did a lot in high school. He played at a small Christian high school, played some quarterback, ran the ball a lot for that team. He's going to be kind of a receiver athlete for us, and has done a great job adapting kind of to the offense. Peyton May is another receiver that has had some opportunities in camp and has gotten to do some things, and he comes from Cincinnati, Ohio. He's a big physical receiver and has done a great job there. Adam Dunson is a transfer receiver that came in with this class from Indiana Wesleyan. He had a little bit of an ankle injury to start out camp, but he's on his way back now, which is great, and but definitely anticipate him playing a big role as well too. Being an older guy, having a little bit more maturity to him, I think is an awesome thing. And obviously he's been a part of a phenomenal program up there in Indiana Wesleyan. He knows how successful programs operate, and he's been, even in just the first couple weeks of being on campus with us, has been a phenomenal leader for guys, just in the example of how he carries himself, day to day. So those are some of our receivers that have done a great job so far in camp. We've got several others that have also made a really good impact as well too. At the tight end position, Eli DeRuza he's going to be our long snapper this year. Is also going to work in, at tight end. Does a great job blocking. Played offensive line actually at Alexandria at Monroe High School. A little undersized for a college O lineman. Moved him to tight end, and he's still got that nasty mentality that an O lineman does, and so he's excited to get after guys. Has done a great job.
Tight ends have to do some of the grit too.
They do, without a doubt. It's that perfect mix of O line and receiver.
All right, and then let's go into our quarterbacks and running backs.
Yeah, so we've got a trio of incoming quarterbacks that have been just have a great opportunity to develop, learn the system, and just continue to grow. Cannon Duffing, who's from Michigan. We've got Cody Eastgate, here from Indiana. We've got Caleb Vetter from Ohio. So guy kind of from each state here in the Midwest. Each of them, they've all just put in a lot of effort to learn the system as quickly as they can. They've all got, I think, different and unique skill sets, but they're all really bought into just their individual development as well as the team, and so I'm excited to see the three of those guys develop through this year and obviously moving forward into the future. So they've been doing a good job at running back. We've got a variety of guys at that position that have made some impacts offensively as well as in special teams. We've got Albert Rabb, who's from Texas. He's done a really good job throughout camp, running the ball. We've got guys like Tyler Brooks, Stephen Green, Colton Rogers that have gotten some special teams opportunities, throughout this. That's a really deep room for us, and we're excited about some of those young guys. Trying to get a few of them some opportunities, out at receiver as well too, because just of some more opportunity. Isaiah Clemens, being a guy like that. Aiden Navarre, as he comes back from a hamstring injury that hurt him a little bit early on, in fall, but kind of coming back, to that. Several guys that I know they're hungry, for an opportunity, and I know that if they get the ball in their hands, they're gonna make some really good plays.
All right, and then let's go into our O line. We've got a decent foundation to follow with a few of our O line being third year starters at this point. Tell us about some of the freshmen you've got coming in.
Yeah, so those freshmen have really followed the lead of those upperclassmen. They've set a really good tone for these guys. We've got Aaron Gomez, from Texas. He is, slated to start this first game. He's been doing a great job. Just plays football the right way and is a really, really tough dude. And you gotta have tough guys, up front. Cam Engelhart, who's gonna be playing, a tackle position for us, from Tennessee, has done a good job, coming in really hungry to learn. We've got two high school teammates from Newcastle that Braden Bennett, Andrew Dock, that have been doing really well for us as well too, that have kind of been in some rotational spots. Cameron Thurman from St. Louis, he's a guy that he just wants to go out and bury people and put them in the dirt, and we gotta love that mentality. Jack Bianco, from Atlanta, from a Christian high school down there. He's learning, and he's got a lot of really good opportunity, as well too. Tyrell Jumping Eagle from South Dakota, he's been in the mix, as well as Edgar Smoke from Florida. Hasn't gotten a chance yet, just as he's coming back from some injuries. Excited to get him folded, back in the mix there as well too, when once he gets back, to full health. But with those guys, along with some of our returners, we've had some, we've had guys step up and honestly get a lot more reps in training camp than the average freshman offensive lineman gets, which can give you some really good opportunities.
And then defensive line is another category. We talked about some depth there, some good senior leadership there. Obviously, when those people graduate, you're going to need some of these guys to step in. Tell us about some of these defensive line incomers.
Yeah, on the D line, some of these incoming guys that will have some opportunities to play early. Leonard Rand, defensive tackle for us. He's from Las Vegas. I think he's been doing a great job. Works really hard. I think he'll be a focal point on the D line for us. Some other guys that are going to get some opportunities to show what they could do, throughout the course of this season and even early on in game one would be Ron Ragus from Louisiana. he's been doing a great job. We've got two guys from Indianapolis, from Decatur Central, in Brandon Vincent and Jalen Shanks, that have been in the rotation as well too. We've got Jonathan Hayward Dupree, from Indiana, here as well. Those guys are going to get some good opportunities. They've kind of showed some great things throughout camp. Excited to see how they continue to kind of develop throughout the year. And then Darius Grimes as well too, from the Atlanta, Georgia area. He's smart player, explosive player. He does a good job there up front. So those guys, I think we'll see some action at some point. And D line's up a position that there's always going to be opportunity and kind of chances to show what you could do.
All right, and then let's go into our linebacking core.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of older guys in the linebacking core, and they've been kind of over the past year and a half, 2 years, even a little bit longer for some, have been foundations of the program and the defense. And so, a couple of guys that I think, have made their way on some special teams and potentially into a rotation. Justin Preyor at the, an inside linebacker spot, as a young guy from, Atlanta. We've got an outside linebacker, Christian Hollins, that has been doing a great job throughout camp. One of those guys that just plays with so much passion and fire on the field. And I wouldn't want to get hit by him. He's a hard-hitting dude, and, he'll be, kind of one of those guys that I think will play a lot at our outside linebacker position, as well. We've got a few of our safeties that might also have some opportunities at an outside linebacker, spot too. But yeah, I think we've got a good crew at that second level.
All right, and then let's go into kind of our secondary, your people that might have, like how you just said, the outside linebacking role might come in for some sneak in some blitzes here and there. Tell us about your incoming secondary.
Yeah, so some incoming guys in the secondary that I think are going to have an impact, early on. Darian Alexander from Fort Wayne, Indiana, has been competing for a starting safety spot. Really tall, fast defensive back that can cover a lot of ground. He's doing a great job at a strong safety spot too. We've got Elijah Hearns coming from Ben Davis, coming off of a state championship win. He's going to be a key contributor on some of those, packages. Rotating in on special teams. Really like what we've seen from him throughout our training camp so far. A couple of other guys, at the corner spots that have kind of been in some backup, roles, coming in and playing, maybe those nickel and dime style of, defensive backs in R.J. Swain from Alabama, C.L. Seiler also from Alabama. We got a lot of speed from down south, and so, those guys are doing a good job there. Probably see them, running down on kickoff, doing different things like that, as well. Covante Harrell is another one that is coming to us as a transfer that he could play a little all over the field. He could play corner, he could play safety, he could play outside linebacker. He's a playmaker on the football field, and I think he'll do a really good job in a variety of different roles for us on the defense and on special teams this year.
And then rounding out the roster breakdown, let's go into our special teams.
Yeah, so Corey Layton, our kicker this year, he's an incoming freshman from Alexandria, so he's stepping in and getting a really great opportunity, to make an impact, early on. Justin Beeler is an incoming punter for us. He along with one of our older punters will kind of share some punting duties, this year, and we've also got Eli DeRuza, freshman long snapper, that'll play a lot in that role as well too. So our specials will be young. They've all had some great experiences throughout camp. Really trust what they can do, and along with some of our other older guys, that also fill those roles, kind of showing them how things are done, and I know that they'll be ready to turn the keys over to them, kind of as they graduate.
When you take, and then to round things out, when you look at this class and you look at your vision for the AU football program, how does this class play into that vision? What do you hope to be?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's kind of almost two cycles of recruiting, getting them here, and then getting them to stay here. Kind of the next year and the year after that. And there's, with college football, you win with guys that continue to be here, and so I think this is a really foundational class for us, and a lot of great guys, a lot of guys that I think love AU, are great fits, here, both football and school, and a lot of guys that are really good football players are going to have great careers here, and I'm excited to continue to get to add on with the next class, of incoming freshmen that we're in the recruiting process with now, as well as just the nature of college football from Division I to Division III, transfer portal and everything like that are some of the hot topics, and we understand that that's just kind of a part of life in college football now, and so really it's showing these guys that, hey, I think that this place it can be the right place for you, and if it's not, maybe there's a good opportunity somewhere else, but we're going to be all about investing in these guys to become the best football players they can be, to grow in so many other areas of life, that I know that these guys are going to get a great experience here, both football-wise as well as, just become better men from being a part of our program. And, I think that we'll have a lot of these guys that are going to be here for 4 years and be some impact players in our program and in our program's history. And, we're excited to continue to add more guys like that to the mix.
All right, well, I think I've covered the questions I wanted to. Ravens fans, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to follow along with any more recruiting class interviews and any more content we may put out on YouTube. Of course, follow along with your football Ravens this year. You'll be able to see many of these players as they open on the road against Alfred State this Saturday at noon. Coach Coddington, thank you for joining us, and good luck this year.
Absolutely, thank you so much.